Bidirectional means we can traverse the relation from either side. Means we can fetch the details of associated addresses from person side by using method like getPerson. Also, we can get the details of associated person from address instance by using method like getPerson. That means address should be associated with person as well as person should be associated with address. Here we talk about one-to-one. For one-to-one, exactly a single address should be associated with person and a single person should be associated with address. I already have a project with client code, an empty person.html.xml file, and a Hibernate configuration file with single resource person.html.xml mapped to it. As I already said, for bidirectional person mapped to exactly one address and vice versa. First, create a class person with ID of type int and name of type string. Then I create a class address with ID of type int and city and state of type string. As we have to make a relationship bidirectional, so I have to associate a person to address and create the getter setter of all. Also, I need to associate the address to person class. So create a field of type address and define the getter setter method of all the fields. At the Pojo side, we are done. Next, we need to declare the mapping of Pojo at the coding end to the table at the database using person.html.xml file. We declare an element class with an attribute name set to person. Map ID field of person with the key generation strategy as native. Map the property name of the person and the associated address property with many to one with the attribute unique set to true. That makes it logically one-to-one mapping. Similarly, we're gonna map the Pojo class address with the ID generation strategy as native, property city and state, and the associated person with many to one element, but with attribute unique set to true to make it logically one to one. I make Hibernate aware of that the responsibility of persisting the associated instance automatically is with person instance with cascade option set to all. All done. Now let's quickly modify the client code. Create an instance of address class, set the city of it to Gwalior and the state to MP. Create the instance of person class, set the name of it to Shipsen and associate the above created address to it. As the mapping is bidirectional, so associate the created person with the address. Request the session to persist the person. Hibernate will take care of persisting the associated address with person. Let's execute the code. Okay, it's working fine. Let's check the thing at the database side. Okay, we have address in the person table, and on the person table we have a column address acting as foreign key referring to associated primary key of address table. Similarly, we have a foreign key column person in the address table referring to primary key of the associated person from person table. Let's quickly check the graph. The mapping is exactly what I said. Let's try to drop the table. Database won't allow us to drop any of the table because there is a circular reference of key column. So first we need to drop the foreign key constants of the table. Okay, done. Now I can drop the table. First the address and then the person. There is one more way to map the bidirectional one-to-one association at the person mapping end. In place of many-to-one mapping and setting the unique option to true, we can use the one-to-one mapping and at the person end. But at the address end, we have to modify the ID generation strategy to foreign key, and we need to specify the name of the associated instance to which the foreign key gonna refer. In our case, it's person. Also in the address class, change the mapping of the associated person from many to one with the constraint set to true. With this modification, both the table gonna share the same primary key. All done. Let's execute the code once again. To better demonstrate you the effect, let's change the ID generation strategy to assign, where I'm gonna assign the ID to person primary key and the same ID is shared by the address. Let's set the ID to say 1234. Let's execute the code once again. Okay, code is working. Let's check at the database end. The same ID 1234 is shared by both the address and the person entity. Still, there is one more way to map one-to-one bidirectional association. So, reverting back to the previous demo. All done. Just change the mapping in address from many-to-one to one-to-one and populate the property ref with the value of the associated entity in the person map address. Things look good. Let's check the table. Yes, both the tables are sharing the same primary key. Let's check the graph.